As a key leader of the suffrage movement, Carrie Chapman Catt's brilliance as a strategic planner and renowned skill as an inspirational orator were greatly responsible for the victories of the women's suffrage movement. Towards the end of the fight, she founded the League of Women Voters and delivered her famous Be Joyous speech. After working steadfastly for decades, Catt, at the age of 61, was able to celebrate the final victory, the ratification of the 19th Amendment.
When we met in St. Louis a little less than a year ago, in the 50th annual convention of our association, we all knew that the end of our struggle was near. We knew this without a reservation of a doubt. We comprehended the truth of Victor Hugo's sage epigram, "There is one thing more powerful than kings and armies, the idea whose time has come to move." We knew that the time for our idea was here. Since that date, state after state has joined the list of the ratified. We have seen our idea, our cause, move forward dramatically, majestically, into its appropriate place as part of the construction of our nation. We have no official proclamation to make, announcing that our amendment has been ratified by the necessary 36 states. But the ratifications already completed and the special legislative sessions already called for ratification bring us within very few of the required number. There is no earthly power that can do more than delay a trifle, the final enfranchisement of women. The enemies of our progress and liberty never surrender and never die. They are still active, hysterically active over our amendment, still imagining, as their progenitors for thousands of years have done, that a fly sitting on the wheel of progress may command it to revolve no more, and that it will obey. Suffragists were never dismayed when they were a tiny group and all the world against them. What care they now when all the world is with them? March on, suffragists. The victory is yours. The trail has been long and winding. The struggle has been tedious and wearying. You made sacrifices and received many hard knocks. Be joyful today. Our amendment was submitted June 4th, 1919, and today, February 13th, 1920, 8 months and 8 days later, it has been ratified by a speedier record than any other amendment. But the record of time is not the significant part of the story. Obstacles have been difficult to overcome, far more difficult than you may ever know, and in a few instances well-nigh insurmountable. But the point to emphasize today is that obstacles were overcome. On the whole, the ratifications have moved forward in splendid, triumphal procession. There have been many inspiring incidents of pluck, daring, and clever moves on the part of the suffragists to move the campaign ahead. And there have been many instances of courage, nobility of purpose, and proud scorn of the pettiness of political enemies on the part of governors, legislators, and men friends of our cause. On the other hand, there have been tricks, chicanery, and misrepresentation. But let us forget them all. Those are only the symptoms of the feeling of those who have lost a cause. Victors can afford to be generous. Someday, the history of these past few months will be written, and if the writer catches the real spirit of it all, it will be a thrilling story. We may be a bit impatient, but candor should make us realize that the progress of ratification has been safe, sane, wholesome, and its final triumph certain. We should be glad and grateful, but more, we should be proud. Proud that the 51 years of organized endeavor has been clean, constructive, and conscientious. Our armies never resorted to lies, innuendo, misrepresentation. It never called its enemies names. It marched forward, even when the forces were most disorganized by disaster. It always met argument with argument, honest doubt with proof of error. In all the years, it has never paid a federal lobbyist, and so far as I know, no state has paid a legislative lobbyist. During the 50 years, it has rarely had a salaried officer, and even then, she has been paid less than her earning capacity elsewhere. It has been an army of volunteers who have estimated no sacrifice too great, no service too difficult. Ours has been a movement with a soul, a dauntless, unconquerable soul ever leading on. Women came, served, and passed on. But others came to take their places, while the same great soul ever marching on through hundreds, nay, 1,000 years, a soul immortal, directing, leading the women's crusade for the liberation of the mothers of the race. That soul is here today. And who shall say that all the hosts of the millions of women who have toiled and hoped and met delay are not here today, and joining in the rejoicing that their cause at last, has won its triumph? How do I pity the women who have no share in the exaltation and the discipline of our army of workers? How do I pity those who have felt none of the grip of oneness, of women struggling, serving, suffering, sacrificing for the righteousness of women's emancipation? Women, be glad today. Let your voices ring out the gladness in your hearts. There will never come a day like this. Let the joy be unconfined, and let it speak so clearly that its echo will be heard around the world and find its way into the soul of every woman of any and every race and nationality who is yearning for opportunity and liberty, still denied her sex.